within a few years on YouTube, this place has totally changed with like the ads and what's allowed on YouTube, what's not allowed on YouTube, and all these censorships and just like
Yeah,
that,
definitely.
just in a blink of an eye, it's already here.
Yeah, I mean, I was first alerted to free. I forget now what radio deems it. Radiohead deems it. Basically, I was alerted to the internet not being forever as it is through Radiohead. They produced this really wonderful, or linked this really wonderful video on their website, which showed that there are efforts to make sure that it doesn't stay the way it is now, and they're actively pursuing that. And there are people on the other end battling it, but it's getting a lot more serious because, like I posted a video before on my channel about false flags, cyber war, like basically Cold War tactics to make sure that we're fearful of the fact of all of our technology and all of our information being shut down at once
Hmm.
by some outside threat. And because of that outside threat, we now have to give more power to the government and the
Yeah,
rest of it.
I really
And it's
think,
like,
uh,
it's just the same old game.
yeah,
Like television, when it first started out, two-way street, and then it got capitalized. As far as I understand, radio was the same way, and it was turned into a monopoly.
hmm,
So
it's really,
newspaper, newspaper industry, same exact thing.
it's so interesting because it is this dynamic between a more decentralized form of power and organization, and this pull to kind of centralize it and make it authoritarian again. But it's
Yep.
it's like a cycle things go through, and each time, well, if you want to be hopeful, you can say each time it happens, the scales kind of tip a little bit more towards balance. It doesn't end up working out, but the next time around, maybe a little bit more. So like it
Yeah.
seems like the internet is the next time around, and it's getting a little bit better. Um, I mean, some people say the internet is like as big as the printing press. I don't know. If it is, then there'll definitely will be a really powerful um, restructuring of organizing society, and it already seems like it's doing that. So who knows?
Mm.
But I don't think it will be a utopia. You know, it's nowhere near
Yeah.
that.
Uh,
I mean, the printing press caused a lot of problems for the
yeah.
church and the authority figures. And they didn't like people reading books and books being outside of monasteries. And I
Sure,
see
sure.
all the same kind of thing happening now. Like they don't like us just downloading movies and kind of collaborating like this and organizing on our own. That kind of power is relatively new, I think. Um, but I think it's very important for us to kind of uh, expose this thing going on, this kind of dynamic power play, and to really make sure that this time around we have a firm footing in um, representation of people, and freedom to express ourselves and not be stuck in another tyranny.
Yeah, absolutely. Because if we don't, we're going to end up with another information underground, and it's going to be like collection of people who have to establish another alternative press.
Mm-hmm.
In the days when the printing press was around, or before it, there was like a passing around of manuscripts,
Yep.
like back and forth of documents that wouldn't necessarily be out and allowed. And history does repeat itself, and if we're not careful and we're too complacent about the freedom that we have now, and we're not willing to really protect it, it'll be taken away,
Yeah.
you know. And it's a definite power struggle that we have to be aware of, in particularly our generation, because we've gotten really used to it.
Yeah. So
And I've
hopefully we
really,
won't become too complacent and become like I guess our past generation who just they got used to TV being one way, giving my reality TV shows, my American Idol, and I'm good. I don't know.
yeah,
Let's hope the internet doesn't
yeah, and
become like
it's
that.
just like neurochemical drugs, basically.
Yeah.
And when it gets to that stage, there's really no helping it. And again, if all of because look, when they make the internet one way, it won't be like they're gonna shut down MySpace and Facebook and Twitter and all these things that people use. they're only going to take out the things that are really beneficial for creating a new type of social structure, essentially, the way that I see it.
Yeah.
Because as good as those networking tools are, as much as we've used them, in particular to connect, they're if they're not taken a step further, they can just be another trap, and you get caught up in just being okay with communicating on a virtual web and not actually interacting. Even like this, at least we're talking face to face. We're not speaking on avatars,
Hmm.
and things like this. So what will get taken down, if that happens with the net, is really the good stuff. I mean, all the stuff that everyone uses right now, all the cat videos on YouTube are gonna be they're gonna stay, trust me, you know. But it's gonna be like conversations like these, which I don't know, it might not work out, like it might not fit the paradigm, you
Yeah,
know.
this
And
is
if
a
we
challenging moment because what are they saying? We're going now from Internet 2.0 to 3.0 or something like that. And now they keep saying Internet 3.0 will enable collaboration, it'll enable more participation. I mean, I hope so. I hope this trend continues. Um, if it does, I think there's a lot of hope. I think there's a lot of potential because then it'll be too decentralized for I don't know. I mean, look at 4chan and look at what they do to like major websites. They totally topple them down with like bandwidth wars and stuff.
right. Which, I mean, people shouldn't have to resort to that, but
No,
at the
no.
same time, it's like I'm not a pacifist either.
Yeah,
And if it, I mean, there does have to be a means of just protecting the things that are out there right now. And I definitely agree. Like it is a turning point, and that it's one thing that we really need to be conscious of. And another thing we need to be conscious of is who is developing Internet 3.0. I actually don't know the answer to that
neither do
question.
I.
Maybe you can inform me.
I mean,
But that's like
I've read
that's
Clay
the thing that we
Shirky.
need to.
Have you
What
read
was
any of
that?
Clay Shirky's work?
Uh-uh.
He's kind of like one of these media gurus. He wrote "Here Comes
Okay.
Everybody," and it's a couple years old, so I don't even
I
know if it's relevant as much anymore. But
I
um,
think I've heard of it actually.
he did a TED talk. But his whole idea was, yeah, Web 3.0 is where it's going to be. Like you're seeing the seed form of the true potential of new communication technology. Um, but again, it's just it's almost hard to believe with the trends that have been happening. It's like maybe not. It's
Hmm.
the future's uncertain. You know.
Yeah, and it's something to look into. Like I think there's a there's a new level of like investigative journalism that I think if it were pursued collectively and on a broader scale, and there was dialogue on the people who are inventing the internet, and there were actually citizens where it's not just like a bracketed group, like an isolated group who makes all the decisions and doesn't ask anybody about them. That's the problem. It's just like when those type of developments happen, and like to say if we found out that the military industrial complex was involved in Web 3.0, then we might have new questions. Like
Mm-hmm.
those are things that, good or bad, I'm not saying that that complex is good or bad, but those are new questions that we need to ask,
Yeah.
and those are new things that we need to be in dialogue about. So,
Completely. Yeah. I mean, hopefully it will be as a lot of these web gurus are saying it's decentralized, people all over the place are coming up with these things. If it's anything like Web 2.0, I think Web 2.0 has been to some degree like that. I mean, Facebook started out as what, just some guy's community. What was it for? Originally just for college students.
yeah, yeah.
Very small website. You had to have a little,
And now the CIA is all over it.
yeah, I think it kind of starts out small and then it gets huge because, these old powers that be are like, whoa, where'd that come from? Let's get in on that,
Mm, hmm
I'm hoping the dynamic is that, but, we have to always keep investigating and making sure that it is. Um,